Any questions?
How are you going to let the team do Thanksgiving?
Typically in the past, we practice early Thursday morning in a Saturday game, and we'll meet and get everybody out of here by 11:30, and then so guys are making trips 3-4 hours away, whether it's East Texas or San Antonio or Dallas, can get there, and then we push things back a little bit on Friday. Meetings will start about 3:30, so guys don't have to get up and rush to get back here and early in the morning. So if they want to go home, they can get home reasonably. Right after practice, though, we have a big Thanksgiving spread up in the zone for those guys that live too far away or can't get back, and so we try to take care of everybody that way.
How is Mike Richardson doing?
He was actually, which is amazing, he was at the team meeting yesterday, and he had actually talked to his mom and then him, and he was trying to get out of the hospital Sunday night, or Monday night actually. No, Sunday night. Yeah, after his yeah. So it was really a shock, because he played the whole second half, and we went back and we're looking, trying to figure out where it happened. And I think it was early in the third quarter, on a play over on our sideline where he retraced and came from behind and made a hit on the sideline, and played the rest of the game. And you look at the X-ray and it's a miracle. I mean, nothing short of it. That it could have been a catastrophic situation, and so that's the reason. Right after the game, we took him to the hospital and had the surgery, and it's successful, and we'll see from here. He's in great spirits. I'm not going to ask him how he's doing, because the guy had a broken vertebrae and played the half the game, and a torn ligament, and I mean it just could have been a lot worse. But our medical staff did a great job, and if we got to do anything, we got to tell him to slow down right now, because I looked up and he was at the team meeting yesterday with a neck brace on. So.
And I know it's way early, but is there any kind of long-term?
I'm not even worried about that right now. We're just worried about, at this phase, him getting better based on what I saw Saturday night to now. I mean, we haven't even talked about that. So we'll see how it goes.
Is there anything new on Thomas Johnson, Coach?
No, he's still with his family, and we're just kind of working through that.
Kevin, you guys obviously all year have done a really good job focusing week to week. Is there any special challenges this week with all of the talk about postseason awards and where the bowls are going to be and then Thanksgiving? Is there any special challenges for this week?
No, it's we're playing a team that no one on this football team has ever beaten, and it's senior day. That'll be enough to get our attention right there.
Talk about senior day in the past. You talk about how important it was for the seniors to buy in. Can you just talk about that group and how much it's meant to this team that they've been able to buy in so quickly?
It will be a big deal. It will be probably a pretty emotional situation to start that game for a lot of people, not just the players, but probably, and for me too. For what these guys have done this year. If you look at what has transpired this year in a season of firsts, all right, with a new coaching staff coming in, these guys having to deal with new philosophies, offensively, defensively, special teams, okay, new quarterback thrown in there 2 weeks before the season, first game canceled by a hurricane, right, postponed, and playing the last 11 straight weeks the way they've played, it's nothing short of amazing. And so that takes leadership to handle all that. And as I've said all year, effort has never been an issue with this team. We haven't always done things right, but effort's never been an issue, and I don't expect that to be the case this week. So from my standpoint, you can't do that without senior leadership, because you're only with them so much as a coach. It's in the locker room where people have to be held accountable, and it's by example that you get the young guys to do things, and they've been critical to our success. So, like I told them yesterday in the team meeting, we got one more week. I'm going to ask you to do it one more week. And I said, I know I'd ask you that every week, but I mean it this time. If you can just get one more week, I promise you I'll let you rest a little bit before the bowl game, just a little bit.
Talk specifically about Patrick Lewis and what he's meant to this team, specifically what he's meant to the offensive line and held that group together.
There's no doubt. I mean, Patrick does everything up front. He gets us targeted in the run game. He sets our protections in the passing game. And, like I said earlier, he was tired of me yelling at him because we can't do anything until he gets to the ball. So, it's a little bit harder when you're 300 and some pounds. And the ball gets spotted, and the coach is yelling at you to get over there and get over the ball. So he's another guy that we couldn't do anything without him. Basically, offensively, it starts with him every time. And from a tempo standpoint, if he's walking, if he's slow to the ball, our tempo's slow. He sets the protection, he sets the points out the run game, all that stuff. So, he's done a great job. And based on, he's had some hellacious matchups for him this year inside there with some really big, strong, athletic guys. From right off the bat at Florida on down the line. So, he's the only senior on that front, but he's been a leader for us the whole time.
You still yell at him a little bit on tempo?
I used to yell at him a lot on tempo because it was a little bit different. We can't do anything if you don't get to the ball and snap it. So, he's got to be the guy moving. I'd say he's in pretty good shape for 300 and some pounds right now. So he's, to play the way he's played and do what he's done, it has been critical to our success.
A year ago, you're wrapping up an unbeaten regular season at Houston. A year later, you're 9-2 in the SEC with a leading Heisman candidate. Has it just been one of the wildest years in memory for you in your coaching career?
Oh no, as a coach, you really don't have a chance to enjoy a lot of things until it's over with. So because you're always going to the next deal or the next game, because you guys say this next game is the biggest game of the year, or it's a trap game, or it's this game. So I think after the season you do a lot of reflection, but it's been fun. I tell you the reason that, getting back to your question about the seniors, that's the biggest deal to me is how guys have this team has come together and accepted this coaching staff, and from a really, from the beginning where there was a lot of tension to now where there's some ease and talking with guys about a lot of things that have nothing to do with football, and that's what you learn. That's what makes coaching a lot of fun. And we were talking last night as defensive staff. It's amazing how fast the season has gone by. It took a while with the hurricane, but it's just been boom, 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 and you look up and these seniors, it's their last time to run out on Cal Field, and that's, like I said, it'll be an emotional day.
What makes Luke Jokel and Jake Matthews so good at what they do?
They're big, athletic, and smart, and tough. So, that's a great combination. And they've played a lot of football. They've been playing since they got here. They've got the tools, to handle it. They're confident now. They played against everybody, and they're juniors, but they got as much experience as anybody in the country, and you just see the confidence level. I tell you, as your team gets better, and I've been on teams like that, particularly at Oklahoma, when as your team gets better and you go over and do one-on-one pass rush and you're blocking DeMontre Moore, both of them are getting better. And he goes from one tackle to the other tackle, and they're making each other better. And as your talent level rises on your team, then guys get better across the board by practicing against good players. And the confidence level goes up when you come to game time. So, it's but those two definitely understand the game, know what's going on. They're extremely talented guys and tough guys, and that whole offensive line has done a heck of a job this year.
When you were growing up, did you always know you wanted to be a coach?
No, did not. Matter of fact, my dad didn't want me to be a coach because he was a coach. So anybody who's been a coach probably would say, no, you don't want your kid to be a coach.
What did you think about being when you were younger?
I thought about being a lot of different things, So I was, at one point I was going to go to law school. So that didn't work out. Probably should have done that, though, huh? Deal with you guys.
Can you remember when you might have first sensed that that this senior class that you inherited was going to be able to provide that leadership and have that attitude that you're speaking of?
I don't know. It was probably during fall camp, and it's been slowly. It wasn't everybody. It's not like everybody all at once said, all right, let's go. It's a one at a time kind of deal, and there's situations that happen. And I think during camp we had some moments where, you could see it starting to come along. I think after Florida, everybody understood that we could be a good team, and in order to win, we had to clean some things up, penalties, do a better job on our end as coaches. But even with all that, to be that close to winning that game, it was easier to talk to the team about what we needed to do to get over the hump. And I think our seniors understood that. Sean Porter was extremely upset after the Florida game, if you can remember that. And we talked about being upset's not going to do anything for it. Here's what we got to do to get this fixed and win, because we're good enough to win. And Florida had a lot to do with us being the way we were in the second half, but we could have done better. And here's how we can get better, but we can't do it by talking about it. We got to get this handled. And I think they made a step after that.
As a new head coach, a head coach to a program, do you have to be particularly harder on the seniors as a rule of thumb? Do you have a rule the way you?
No, I've done this twice now, so. And everybody's got different ways of doing things. I'm probably a little more sensitive to those guys. Some guys will come in a program and push those guys aside, or say we're going to do this, but then start playing the young guys. I just think, those guys have the hardest time because they didn't sign up for you, and they don't know you, and everybody else has got a year or two to get adjusted. And in many of these guys' situations, they've got 8 months. And for most of them, they'll never play football again. And so their experience, I'm very, very sensitive to that. Just because, that's it. And anybody who's ever been a part of something like that knows that experience your senior year is probably what you're going to remember most. And, I think it's critical that, win or lose, whatever happens, that is a good experience.
Kevin, are there many similarities with what Missouri tries to do offensively with what you guys do?
Not really. Not really.
How integral have your senior linebackers been?
Excuse me?
How integral have your senior linebackers been in the success of the defense and being the quarterbacks of the defense, so to speak?
Well, they've done a great job. You know, Jonathan and Sean have played a lot. Stephen Jenkins has made big plays for us. You look back across the course of the year, you know, critical turnovers, big plays, sacks. We asked them to do a lot because we've had some situations where our secondary and has been thin some games, you know, for whatever reason, injury or guys missing games, and you know, we had to play Sean Porter at nickel for the Ole Miss game. You know, those guys played 108 snaps in that game. So, you know, they've like I said, what that group has done this year, going without a bye week, playing the way they've played all year, has really been phenomenal.
What are the challenges that you see Missouri will present to you guys this weekend?
You know, they're a team that I think, you know, with James Franklin being in and out of the lineup, obviously that's hurt them a little bit from a continuity standpoint, but they're talented. You know, they've got big guys on the outside and always have excellent receivers. You know, they've struggled for whatever reason. Like I said, I think the quarterback's going in and out. You know, it's just like anybody else. You know, you lose your starting guy. There's a reason he's a starter, but you know, they lead the league in kickoff return and punt return. They got an excellent return game and playing good defense. So, you know, and they're playing to be bowl eligible. So, you know, both these teams coming in here Saturday have a lot to play for. And last time I checked, they haven't lost here in a while. So I don't think they're going to be lacking any confidence at all walking in this place.
You talked all season about needing to build defensive depth, you know, as you build up the years here. Was a good example of that on Saturday in the second half with the 28 points of lacking defensive depth.
You saw it.
Yeah.
So
prime example.
You saw it. You were at the game.
Another thing from the game, too, you had mentioned you hadn't seen tape on Christian Michael at that point. And, of course, the SEC said no further penalties or anything. Did you ever actually see a tape on it?
There's no video of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You had some in-zone cameras.
Yeah, we did, but, you know, it's late. And the TV copy, you know, and I didn't see it when it happened. I was too busy doing something else. So, you know, it's – and the league rules, and that's good enough. You know, we'll move on.
People does a lot of recruiting here in Texas. Do you look at their roster? Did you recruit a lot of the same guys that got on their team?
Yeah, we did it at Houston. We lost some commitments to Missouri. One year, I think we lost a couple or three of them. So, yeah.
Did you get a sniff from Dorial Beckham Green at all?
We didn't recruit him. We didn't get in the mix. We got here in December and really concentrated on in-state and Louisiana. But he is an excellent player.
Coach, you mentioned Missouri winning here a lot recently. Did you even have to say anything to the team about that, or you kind of just see it in their eyes that they, you know?
You know, they know what's going on. So, like I said, you know, there's been a lot of things happen this year for this team that are first, and it's, you know, first year in the SEC and playing different teams. You know, similar to the Arkansas situation. I'll just say that.
Coming into the year, you
mentioned that no one really knew what to expect coming into this league. Now that you've been through almost the entire season, what has stood out to you about playing in this league?
It is it's what everybody says it is. I think the difference, it's a line of scrimmage league. A lot of talented guys in the front, a lot of depth at the elite teams in this league with speed. And I think, it's the emotional and physical grind. You watch different teams this year go through it, that are playing good at certain points, and then you got to go back to back to back. Somewhere during this stretch, it's not a one game here and a one game there. Somewhere, no matter who you are in this league, you're going to have to go boom, 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 boom. And physically, emotionally, to do that, at this age, I don't know any age, but to handle that, particularly on the road, is very, very difficult. And, and stay healthy and practice during the week and manage, the guys who can hardly walk Monday and Tuesday, but getting them to get a game plan so that they can understand it and can execute it by Saturday, because you can see where you have to have depth in this league to sustain success, and we've got to recruit to that. We've been very, very fortunate this year from an injury standpoint, and I think how we've managed guys during the week has helped us, but. As like Ole Miss, we played 17 guys on defense for that whole game. Well, one of them only played one snap, so really 16 guys played, and a bunch of them over 100 and some snaps. And then you have to refocus, regenerate, and come back the next week and play. So I think that's really the hard part, because games aren't separated that much. You're going to hit a stretch in this league where you've got to go play very physical ball games every week, and that's probably the biggest difference. In some very hostile environments too, and the fans are very, very passionate. That brings up something. I think this weekend, is with everything that's there, that's at stake, and with our seniors, and particularly, the rhythm and for what Missouri does offensively, we need a great effort from our team, but we need a great effort from our fans too, and because our seniors deserve that, and I think like I said, it'll be an emotional time for them, but it ought to be a great way for them to end their career, their last game at Kyle Field, and show them some appreciation for what they've accomplished.
John David Crow is a great man and a legend, but he's no spring chicken. What would it mean to this program if y'all were to add another Heisman Trophy winner?
It's the biggest honor there is in college football, and that's biggest individual honor there is in college football. So it's a big deal, and you can tell that because many schools don't have one. We have one, so that tells you how prestigious that is and how hard it is to even be in that conversation, let alone win the award. So, yeah, it would be a big deal.
Well, since Brent brought up John David, his coach said if he didn't win it, that they should just get rid of it. So I was wondering if you feel this. I'm
not going to go that far. That's a different time. There wasn't Twitter and all that. It probably took a little bit longer for that to get out than it would if I were to say something like that. I wouldn't even be able to get back to my office before that would be out.
Do you think he should win it?
I would say this. I think that if you look at his numbers, Just look at his numbers and what he has done compared to everyone else who's playing the game. They speak for themselves. And I'll take it a step further. If you look at his numbers compared to, for a season, compared to anyone else who's played the game in one season, they speak for themselves too.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Thanks.